Hey residents of MeepleTown, today we are looking at Abomination by Plaid Hat Games. And before we get started, I want to go ahead and give this disclaimer. We are a family show. This game might not be so family friendly.
It's not a family friendly.
It is not. It is pretty grotesque, a little morbid, a lot morbid. And so I just wanted to give that disclaimer. There are some images from the cards in this game that you might not want your kids in the room to see them, of cadavers and things like that. So let's get to the table after that and look at Abomination. Alright, so welcome to Paris. Here we are trying to create creatures, and there's a lot of stuff going on the board here. We're not going to explain every space, but this is a pretty basic worker placement game, and we'll explain those spaces as we go. Over here we have our player boards where we're going to be building the monster parts and the body parts, putting them out here, and then we're going to be trying to charge our Leyden jars and charge up the monster and bring them to life.
Bring them to life, baby.
All right, and there's some dials over here that will kind of explain everything as we go. We each start off with different characters. I am Anita Bassini, and at the start of each round, I get an extra franc if I have 2 or less, and so I will go ahead and take my extra franc to start off the game. We also each start with a 1 scientist worker and 2 assistants, and the assistants will potentially upgrade to scientists as we go, because on the board there's different spaces, and if it has the scientist and assistant space, you can put either of those workers there, but there are several spaces on the board that you can only place a scientist.
You didn't let me tell MeepleTown who I have.
Oh, sorry.
Is that unimportant?
I think your character's very important.
Tanaka Hikaru.
Ah, okay.
And I get to start with 3 reputation.
Nice.
And if someone bumps me from the research area, academy area, then I get a extra reputation.
Perfect.
So
that's pretty good powers. And since we've already kind of mentioned it, there's the humanity gauge, the reputation, and the expertise. As those dials are moving up, you're going to be able to take different spots on the board maybe, or gain victory points at the end of the game, maybe upgrade to a scientist. There's lots of different things that happen as a result of those dials moving up. All right, so the first thing that we do is the first player, and I will be the first player.
Look at our guy. He fell over.
He fell over.
Someone tried to murder him to take his body parts.
So the captain starts off on round 1, and then we're going to take this stack of event cards, and these have been different cards put together, shuffled together to make that deck, and there is 1 card for each round. This says Shocking Betrayal.
Nope, that's round 7 to 12.
It does not. This says a winter storm. There we go. A winter storm. A bitter frost settles over the city, driving the living into their homes to find what warmth they can hearth and stove. They can. They're trying to find warmth by the hearth and the stove. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
So in the market, the cemetery, and lecturing at the academy, those different spaces. So the lecturing at the academy, the market, and the cemetery are all going to be off limits.
Oh, really?
You also skip the decompose and ice melting during the reset phase. So as we get different resources, they're going to be decomposing, and
but we don't do that.
In this case, that we won't do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a couple spots on the board to show that these places are going to be off limits. So the cemetery and then the market.
And the lecture.
And I left the other tokens in the other room. So we just know that we won't be able to lecture.
Like there's one there. All right.
There are more tokens to do that, but we won't be able to do that at the lecture hall. So now I can start placing the workers after we have drawn the event. This is the city phase. So what I'm trying to do is get different people off the board to be able to get different body parts. I would love to go to the cemetery right off the bat because that can be a helpful place to go. But because that's not an option, I won't be able to do that. So instead, I'm going to go down to the docks. The docks is where all the shady people are, and they're going to do different things. So every card...
Perfect place for you.
That's right. Every card, if they have a symbol in the top left-hand corner of the card, you're going to have to pay those costs. And that's a lot to pay off the bat, but I think I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm going to pay a coin, and then I'm going to move down 1 on my humanity track, bringing me to -1. But I'll be able to take the Cutthroat card, and in doing this, I can choose either to take the action on the left side, which in this case would be move up 2 on my expertise, track, or I can take all of these cubes at the bottom. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. And they will be in the stage 1 category. I'll explain that as we kind of go. But I'm going to take 4 of the muscles, 3 of the organs, 3 blood tokens, and then 2 bones. And the bones always go down in that bone section there. Everything else starts off in the stage that you gather them, and those are going to decompose if you don't use them as time goes on. So this goes to the bottom of that Doc's deck, and then a new one automatically comes out, and that's my turn.
Okay, so one of the things that I need to do off the bat is, in order to actually build these body parts, you do have to have a certain level of expertise, and we both start at 1, which isn't high.
That's right.
So I'm thinking that I could get body parts, but until I get to at least expertise level 3, then I can't do anything. So Dean's probably figuring out how he can do that, or I'm helping his strategy right now. No, I'm just kidding.
I need help in this game.
No, all right, so no, you don't. All right, so I can't go there. All right, I think I'm just going to... Okay, I am going to go with my feller here. I'm going to do some advanced research, which allows me to get a card and go up 1 on my expertise track here. So now I'm at 2. I'm going to get this one right here, and that's going to help me whenever I'm building a monster part. I actually can have 1 less body part. Or for each body part, I pay 1 less type. So, and then also going to gain 2 more expertise.
Perfect. And that one, go ahead, it replenishes. So with those cards at the Academy that you gain, the research cards, you can have up to 3 of those type. You can also have up to 3 of the humanity cards, and that's where I'm going to go. So I'm going to go on the Atone spot. When I place my scientist there, I move up 1 on my humanity, because remember, I just lost 1. And then I'm going to take the burial rights card, which will help me when I play this to be able to take those resources at the bottom and take that action that is listed on there. So that's my entire turn, and I will grab a new humanity card, and now back to John.
Okay, I'm going to go here, which means I'm going to pay a coin. You okay over there, brother?
Getting all choked up. I'm getting a little emotional.
Oh man, this is all right. And then I get to grab 2 of these cards here, and so I'm looking at these. I'm gonna keep this one for parts. So let's grab some. I don't know, what is the brown again, Dean?
Brown is the muscle. Purple is the organs.
The organs. Yeah, all right, and white is the bones. All right,
That's
so
right.
I've got those. Let's see, I've got 3. I'm trying to think of that. Okay, then I'm going to use the second one instead of actually taking the muscles and the bones and stuff and up my expertise to 3, so now I can actually build something. So, all right.
All right, so you're done with your turn.
Where do I discard these morgues at?
That's going to go right to the
right to the
bottom.
To the bottom there.
Yeah. So in this game, instead of discarding, you're going to put back in the bottom of that whatever that deck is for the most part. All right. So for my last action, again, I'd love to go to the cemetery, but I cannot. So I'm just going to go up here, and I'm going to take some animal parts. And animal parts are. I'll take 4 of the level 2. Sounds good, huh? Animal parts can be used to build the body parts as well for the monster. However, if you've ever played Santa's Workshop, I guess this game does not compare well with Santa's Workshop, but it works kind of like plastic in Santa's Workshop in that you don't get those extra. You don't get extra points. You lose points for using animal parts, but
oh boy,
I'll still use them.
Oh, I can't do that with that little fella. I don't have a lot of choices here. Unless I bump somebody.
Which you can bump in this game.
Which I can. And I'm going to... First, actually, I'm going to go here. Which gives me the first player token. This is kind of weird, actually.
In a 2-player game, it's weird, for sure.
It's strange in a 2-player game because it says that you take the first player marker and then you may place this meeple at another location after all meeples are placed. Right. So that means I guess I picked it back up. Unless we're doing that wrong.
We might have that rule wrong. We'll put that in the notations. But
yeah,
from what we read, it seems as if you could just remove that and then place it again immediately because it places at the end of the round.
Yeah, so I'm going to then do that to get the first player. And then I'm going to come back here, I think, and get another card. When placing at the market, gain 1 extra Frank. Or... during your turn, choose one of your results. I'm going to take this because I can do another action again, or I can get a re-roll of a blue die, which might prove itself to be useful.
It definitely can.
It can.
It can't hurt. All right,
We're chuckling because of how poorly Dean rolled last game.
We'll talk about that in the final thoughts. But all right, so that's the first round. The first part of the first round. This is the city phase. The next part is the lab phase, where you're able to take your resources and build monster parts, and you'll gain points based on that. And we can do this simultaneously, and that is what we will do, right, John? You good to build some body parts?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm in the stage 3 of the decompose, so I don't get very many points. So if you're higher or if they're fresher body parts, then you get more victory points. So I am going to be able to build an arm, but I only get 2 victory points for that. Am I red or green? Green.
You're green. Yep.
Yeah. I should just look at the player board. All right. So there we go. Take my 2 victory points, and now I take an arm. And I put it on my board here. So.
And just as I was getting ready to start building body parts, I remembered that there's a minimum expertise requirement on there.
That's why I said it earlier.
For me, I did not. Yep. I just
You
totally
ignore everything that I say.
So I won't be able to build anything this round, but I'll be able to do that. Next round, hopefully.
Alrighty.
Once I can build my expertise up, all right, and then we could
refresh.
flip the switch, but we're not going to do that yet. We'll explain that a little bit later. And then the last thing that you would do is preserve materials if you want to sell them in the market. And I don't think I'm going to.
I'm going to preserve that 1 material there.
All right, and then that's the last part of the lab phase. Then we're going to reset, as John's already been doing. So we'll reset these, flip these cards.
Do I reset these completely?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm normally the one that's doing this, I guess, apparently.
That's the way I like to play games, and just sit back and let Dean do everything.
All right, these hospital ones go away, and you get 1 card in the hospital per the amount of players, so we got 2 up there. And then these reset. Did you do that already?
Yep.
And the docks. All right, take our workers back.
Did.
All right, and we refreshed the game board, got our workers back. We're going to move the captain down on the track so that we're going to start round 2. And we'll just play through this round and just explain a couple things.
And you get a coin for this round.
That's right. I get a coin to start this next round. And since you're the first player, you will
take the top card.
Draw that top card.
All right. Let's see what happens. All right. You receive an anonymous letter. I know you are good heart. You are of good heart, despite the secret task you labor at. Can you be a good heart if you're trying to create abominations?
Doesn't sound like it. We might be forced into this, though. That was part of the rules that we might not want to do this, but we have
but we're forced into it. The fiend you toil for is dangerous, yes, but nothing compared to the hell you would unleash if you succeed. Delay, stall, do what you must to give me a chance. Humanity depends on it. Each player with 0 humanity, which is myself and you, may draw 1 humanity card from the deck. Read entry C3 to the player with the highest humanity.
All right. So this is for both of us, right? We can do that.
Yeah, actually, you didn't. Yeah, we need to draw a humanity card. Yeah, each player with that may draw 1. So I'm going to draw 1.
There's yours.
All right.
And we just keep this, right?
I reckon so. There we go. Alrighty.
And then
it says to read entry C3 to the player with the highest humanity, but we both have the same humanity.
Well, let's see. So there are some story points in this book. There might be some rules that we're getting wrong in this, but it seems like we might just read this to both players.
I think we should just do it so people can hear it.
Yeah.
So they can get an idea what the story element's like.
And this will be the only kind of spoiler piece, but there's a lot of these type stories.
Yeah, so spoiler alert.
All right, so you walk into your lab to find the creature sitting on the edge of your desk, twirling a pen. Notes passed in the dark, it muses, though you can barely hear it. A river of words, but to where and to what end? I'm sure I don't know what you mean, you reply. My meaning, his meaning, the meaning of it all. Of course you know nothing. Where the blind leads, only a fool would follow. But who follows the fool? Later you feel the creature's presence when leaving your laboratory, and you're certain it or one of its minions is following you. You endeavor to be especially careful while in the city. All spaces that give humanity are off limits to you in this round. Bumping cost you 1 extra franc. So, any of the ones that give you humanity.
So like going to volunteer to get a humanity, or going here to the church to get humanity. That's off.
Correct. If it would give you, humanity naturally. So, all right. So that's kind of that story phase piece. Then we're just jumping into it.
Naturally.
Naturally.
I love it when he says naturally.
Nothing about this game is natural, I think.
No, not at all. All right. Okay. Okay. Ready?
Yep.
My turn to go first.
Yeah, you're the first player.
Yes. All right. Cool. So let's do that. Let's grab a person here and let's. I think. Let me spend my very last one to come back here again. Ooh, I lose heart if I take that though. I don't like losing the little heart that I have. And I'm gonna lose heart for that. I'm gonna lose heart for that. I could get animal parts. I don't know, Dean. I don't know what I want to do here. All right, I'm gonna lecture so that I can up my reputation just a hair up to 5 and get a coin. No, I have to use that one to get the coin, don't I? Yep. Sorry, to go up twice and get the coin. Instead of go up once. Okay.
All right, and I'm going to take this advanced research spot, and you have to place your scientist there, and that's going to let me move 1 up on my expertise. So I'll now be 2, and I'll take this tutor card that lets me, actually I can play this one at any time. So I'll just go ahead and play that right now, and that's going to be 2 on my reputation, and then I'll gain 3 coins. All right, can I grab an extra coin over there?
Yes, sir.
All right, and I'll put that in the bottom of the deck over there, and a new one will come out. And then back over to John.
Okay, I am going to go here. Oh, wait, I have to have my main guy, and I just used my main guy. So that is the decisions.
That's the way the
those
cookie
are
crumbles.
the decisions that I like to. I do enjoy making those decisions in this game. Okay, so I really wanted some coins when lecturing at the Academy gain, in addition to its normal benefit. Okay, I'm gonna go here, and I'm going to grab this. I have 3. I'm allowed to have 3, right?
Correct, 3 of each type.
Okay.
All right, and then for my turn, I'm going to take my assistant and place it down here in the docks, and I'll pay 1 coin to take this dog catcher, and then I will have to pay, I'll have to lose 1 on my humanity because I want to be able to move up on my expertise. 1, 2, so that I'll be able to build some monster parts at the end of this round. A new card comes out there, and it is back over to you.
Alrighty, I am going to bump myself out of the lecture space. Put this down here so that I can play this card that I just got that says when lecturing at the Academy, gain this in addition to the normal benefit. So I get 1 reputation and a coin, but then also I'm going to get 2 more reputation and 2 more coins. And I did that in order that I can get another guy. So,
excellent.
Yeah, I was trying to get that as fast as I could, I thought. We'll see if that works out well.
That's good.
But I will get my other fella, and I get to use him immediately?
You do, yes, but it's my turn. So.
Oh.
All right, so one thing that we mentioned but didn't really kind of clarify is that from some of these different cards that are going to give you cadavers to be able to put different body parts out, some of the spaces are better than the other ones. The hospital, for example, those are fresher bodies, and so they'll be giving you better parts.
It's very thematic.
Usually stage 1 or stage 2. The public square, which has not happened, but if there's an execution that happens, then a card or 2, potentially on however many players you have, goes out here.
You're gonna go get the dead bodies, snake them
That's
up.
exactly right. Yeah, you're gonna take them out of there. After the execution, those are gonna give you, again, better body parts to stage 1. Now, what I'm gonna do right now is go to the cemetery. The cemetery, there are no good body parts there usually. It's stage 3 and stage 4. There's no blood there, which at the beginning of the game you don't need blood because you're not bringing the bodies together to life yet. So in the cemetery, you're going to get stage 3 and stage 4, and sometimes you're just going to get bones, which is what happens here. You get the top 3 cards, and you can choose however many you want to keep, but you have to pay the cost on there. I am pretty low in humanity, but I tell you what,
You're gonna keep
I'm
going.
doing it anyway. I'm just gonna keep going.
You're a creep.
I know. So I'll move down 2 on here to take these different
so you lose a reputation.
actions. I will lose a reputation because I crossed over there. So not a good way to start this game off, but I can build that humanity back up.
I think it's an excellent way to start the game off.
All right, and so what I will do is move up on my expertise on both of those. So I won't take body parts at all this time, which sounds kind of weird. But I will take 4 bones from that one, and that'll help me to complete some body parts. These go back to the bottom of the cemetery deck, and that's my turn.
I'm going to go up here and bump myself out again. Actually, I'm going to come here and get the first player token. Oh, look, my baby came out.
You already have the first player token.
Oh, my bad. For some reason, I got a baby. He's a little baby. Which makes the game even creepier than it was originally, I think. My baby's going to bump out. Oh, I already have bumped, so I can't, can I?
Nope.
That really is not cool. I just ruined what I was
in a 2-player game, you can only bump out 1 time.
Yeah. Okay, well, then I don't really care about the bodies. I'm just going to do something simple and go up here, and I will have to have my main guy. No! Oh, darn it. No, I guess I could just get some body parts and stuff and try this.
Something you don't often say in a lot of games.
Yeah. You know what? I'll go up here and get some animal parts.
There we go.
And grab this for next round since they'll be pretty fresh.
There we go. All right. All right, so that completes the city phase. We're just going to go right into the lab phase where we can build body parts. If our expertise is high enough, so let's go ahead and do that. I will actually be able to build stuff this time. That's exciting. I'm going to build 3. Let's see. I'm going to build 2 arms this time since my expertise is high enough.
Oh, you getting 2?
Ooh, actually, I can build a leg. That's what I'll do. I'll build a leg and 4 bones.
You may have a leg up on me.
That's all I'll be able to do
on
this one, unfortunately.
Oh, you won't then. Legs are worth more than arms, though. So you will on your victory points.
You know what? I didn't decompose stuff last round, I don't think. I think I skipped that phase.
You totally skipped it. Dean
Normally, I would have moved these down. All these should be down, so those would actually be on level 2 that I just took from. I did not use any body parts on that one, though, so if it's on level 2, I'm building a leg.
You didn't lose any animal parts.
I didn't use any animal parts in that one. And so I will get 5 victory points on that for building a leg. But those will decompose again, and you're not building anything?
I only have 3 things.
Oh, okay.
I cannot.
So you're not. All right, so then we would throw the switch. I am going to explain that in just 1 second, but that's what we would do. And then preserve materials if we want to. I'm just going to throw that into there, that organ in there. And then everything will, as the reset, everything decomposes. If your blood crosses from 2 to 3, you actually discard those. They decompose faster. You can't use them.
Doesn't last too long.
Does not last long. All right, and then we would reset the board and all that. Let me explain real fast. In that lab phase, if you had a body part that was a completed part. So once you start a monster body part, then you can complete it by paying, again, extra materials. You flip that tile over to the skin side, and then if you wanted to try to throw the switch on that, let's say you also had some Leyden jars, which we would have bought, later in the game, and it's charged, you can flip that switch, and you get 2 dice per Leyden jar that you're flipping over. In this case, let's say I would just take 2. I would roll those, and I'm not a lucky roller. So in this case, I would take that lightning bolt, and it would go on here. If you get 2 lightning bolts, if it's a completed body part, which it would have been, you flip that over, and then you have to build it back up. If it was already on this side and it took 2 lightning bolts, you would have to discard that. What you're looking for is
something that you don't find very often in this game.
That's exactly right. The eyeball, and if you get that, then that body part becomes alive. That's worth victory points at the end of the game. But if you get all 6 body parts and they're alive, that also triggers the end of the game, and that's essentially how the game plays out. So the game would keep going until 1 or more player has brought their monster to life, or if we've made it through all 12 rounds of the game. John, what do you think about the art and components?
Okay, actually, besides it being grotesque, and it's pretty grotesque, I'll say that.
Macabre.
But the art is really good. I like it. I think this board is awesome. I love the way that these, like, the hospital stuff stand out.
Yeah.
It looks really cool. And all the components are really nice. These dials are very solid.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be something that they could have gone cheap on, and, you barely hit it, it knocks it. But for this, no way. It's nice and solid. All the pieces are thick cardboard. So I actually think the art and components are very good in this game.
Yeah, I agree. The other thing I would point out is with those body parts, they're not all the same, which is kind of cool. And I don't know if that's really necessary per se, but it's cool that you have different heads and you have different even torsos. And
so I have a lady.
Yeah, so it's really cool how that plays out. Now, it is very grotesque, and so that can be a big turnoff. Some of these cards are just absolutely disgusting. Some of the public squares, we didn't get to those cards, but in the public squares, you flip those over. I mean, they're decapitated people, right? And so something to keep in mind. You need to know that going into this, but if you're okay with that, it's great. I love the components. All right, that's the art and components. What do you think about the gameplay?
All right, so the gameplay it's okay for me. I like some of the decisions that you're making. I generally like worker placement games. So deciding, I guess my favorite parts are like deciding with like the scientists where you want to use them versus like your little, what are the little ones called?
Assistants?
Assistants, yeah. Like trying to make the decisions like, do I want to go here because that's a really nice bonus slot, it's a bigger slot, or do I want to save him later because I might want to go to another spot? Do I want to go, do I want to bump Dean out, but it'll cost me a coin to do that? I actually don't find that to be too hard of a decision, though. It seems like in this game, if you want to get money, you can get money. Do you feel like you were struggling with money ever?
Well, I have a character, the one that we were playing in this game, that gives you a lot of money. But yeah, you can definitely struggle with money in this.
Yeah, I felt like, anyway, so I thought the game, though, overall was just, it was fine for me. Some of the things I didn't love about it, I felt like it was kind of samey over the course of 12 rounds, which is a pretty long game. Dean might disagree with me completely about that.
Oh, I do.
I mean, he probably does. Like, the story element is okay. It's not bad. But I just felt like I was kind of going to the same spots. There were no new spots opening up or anything. Collecting these things, okay, put a body part, okay, go to the same spots, collect the things, put another body part on there. And so it's not a bad game by any stretch, but it didn't give me the feels. And I will have to say that, like, the theme is rough for me, I guess. Like, I just didn't really, it's not one that grabs me. I didn't hate it. I just had to keep reminding myself it's like a Frankenstein thing. But it definitely wasn't a theme that drew me in. So anyway, what do you think?
For me, I disagree. I mean, the theme, not everybody has the same like passion for the same themes, but for me, I really like Euro games that are really, really thematic, and this is one of them. Another one that Plaid Hat has done is Dead of Winter, and that's a top 50 game for me. I love Dead of Winter. This, for me, it's not as good of a game as Dead of Winter, but it does give me some of those same feels that you are, you actually feel like you're doing this thing where you're building up this monster, and it's a little bit of a slower process than a game like Dead of Winter. But I do love the fact that as the game kind of ramps up, you feel like, oh, I just got to get this monster, and I got to get these dice roll to be able to, get these body parts alive, and I think that's really cool. Now, some issues that I have are the dice rolls. That's part of it. I'm okay with it. I've been very hosed in this game and rolled a lot of dice with, dice manipulation and all of that, but I still rolled poorly. And that
Dean was pretty much had the game won. I mean, there's no way I was going to come back and win, except for he rolled six dice.
I rolled 6.
And didn't get one eye, like 3, 4, how many times?
Yeah, I had re-rolls, two sets of re-roll cards, and still didn't roll them. And then next
I had
round,
4 die, and I rolled 3 eyes, and I won the game because of that. So if you are really opposed, there is some dice mitigation for sure, but if you're opposed to dice rolling for luck, that could be a turnoff for you.
It can be. Now, for me, it didn't sour it too much because I think most often it's going to balance out. And there's luck elements in lots of games, but you just have to go into that knowing that there's that potential that this could happen.
But there's also the fun in rolling dice.
Yeah.
Right? Like that.
Yeah. For me, I think, even in losing that game because of those dice rolls, when John rolled those 3 eyes, ran around the room screaming because he was so excited.
It was awesome. It was more I didn't care about winning, but it was just just after Dean had rolled so many times I couldn't get one, and when I rolled 4 dice and get 3, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Maybe not for him.
It soured that game a little bit, that experience, but it was fine because I think overall I enjoy it. I enjoy, you said there's not interesting decisions in those spaces. I would disagree. I think it's cool how those different spaces play out. I think it's neat that when you go to the cemetery, you're able to get more bodies, but you're not able to get the fresh bodies. And so you're going to have to go to the public square to get those, or you're going to have to go to the dark alley to get those, and or the morgue to get something that's a little fresher. And I think those are interesting and very thematic, which makes it even more interesting to me. And you have to decide, do I want to focus on getting those resources, or do I want to move up on my track? Because we didn't mention this, but there's also bonus objectives where you can get a lot of points from those objectives by, the ones that we have here are the ones where you move up on the track, but there's different ones that play out. So one other thing that I'll compare this to is Lords of Waterdeep, which is just straight up worker placement game. And the variability in Lords of Waterdeep comes from the different buildings that come out. And that's fine, and I think that's good. And it's a game that I love. I really, really enjoy that game. But the variability in here, I think, is much stronger because of the event cards that come out, because of the dice rolls and the dice manipulation and the research cards and the humanity cards. I feel like there's a lot of different pieces that add to the replayability of this game. So I quite enjoy this game. As you'll see in just a second, more than John, I'll say. But let's...
Final thoughts?
Let's give our final ratings. What do you say?
Okay, so I love the art. I love the components. The theme just is tough for me. I have a difficult time. And honestly, theme doesn't necessarily matter a whole lot to me in general, but this is just one where I'm creating this monster thing and there's the cadavers and so I want to put that caveat, not to poo on the game, but to say if you think you would enjoy the theme, you may like it a whole lot more than what I do. But when it comes down to the simple gameplay mechanics as well, I thought that it was fun. Not great, so but not bad. It's definitely not a bad game, but it didn't give me the feels. The decisions I was making weren't making me get super excited. So I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10, which it was not a bad game for me. Also, definitely not a great game for me. Just kind of, it's forgettable for me, but it's not. But not. I say that, but if Dean wants to play it, I would play it because it's not a bad game.
Yeah.
So I don't mean it like it's just forgettable, like it's not good. It's just an okay game.
Yeah, and I quite enjoy this game. Well, it's fine. Everyone has their games, and I think that's cool to have different voices. But for me, this game is an 8 and kind of creeping in that 8.5 territory. For me, Dead of Winter. Again, I'm comparing them. I don't know if I should, but Dead of Winter is a better game to me, but they both have those similar feels, which I think, man, Plaid Hat Games is crushing it when it comes to thematic Euro-y games. I just really, really enjoy that. So the reason why it doesn't get a little bit higher is because it is more of a slower process. This game is decently long, and so I think if it was a shorter game or it ramps up quicker, it might be a little bit higher. And the other piece is that dice rolling can be frustrating, and it has really messed me up, and that does kind of sour your experience a little bit potentially. Even though there's ways to mitigate that, it can still be frustrating. So still a great game for me. An 8 and a 6.5 for John. Tell them how they can get in touch with us.
All right, so we are obviously on YouTube. If you are enjoying our channel, though, we would love for you to subscribe to it so you can see the other videos that we post. We're also on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook. All those are at MeepleTown Games. And there's something I'm forgetting. Oh, Board Game Geek Guild 3407.
All right, that's going to do it for Abomination. Thanks for coming down to MeepleTown. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at MeepleTown Games, and connect with us on the MeepleTown Guild number 3407 at BoardGameGeek.com, and also subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. And until next time, thanks for coming down to MeepleTown.